I have to sign for the second one.
I always sign for you. Well, you might be late.
Oh, it's
It's
on?
on.
Oh, shoot.
Today, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Harmon Municipal Planning Council public hearing. Today we will be hearing application number with the Guam Land Use Commission application number 2023-25. The applicant Ross B. and Sarah Morrison on behalf of the Serengeti Trust, represented by Daniel Swavey, who are requesting a zone change from R2 multiple dwelling zone to M1 light industrial zone for a proposed self-storage facility and equipment parking on lot 2144-1C-7-3A-R1 in the municipality of Tumuli, Ipoh Road. We'll go ahead and turn over the mic to the presenter, Mr. Dan Swavey, in regards to this project.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello again. So who's new here? Yes? I mean, just new for the, not for the first time. Yeah, and okay. So I have a couple of basics I have to go through, but then I'm just going to key on the two council members here. So, Dan Swavey here, representing Serengeti Trust with my associate, Mr. Kyle Borja. The purpose of this is to meet the law which says the Municipal Planning Council must sponsor 2 public hearings for almost every GLUC application. This is a rezoning application. The zone is currently R2, multifamily. The Morrisons, the owners of Serengeti Trust and the property, would like to develop an equipment parking and a self-storage facility that's not permitted in an R2. So that's why it has to be in M1. That's what this is all about, complying with the law for this second hearing. And then the third part of this law with respect to MPC is the regular meeting. You'll have it as an agenda item to decide on a resolution regarding this proposal. Before we start with your questions and comments, let me just say that during the first round of public hearings, we addressed a number of concerns and requests from the audience, from other neighbors, okay? I want to run through those real quickly, get them on the record for the second public hearing. Some neighbors were concerned about the buffer, buffer strip between our property and the neighbors. We agreed to make it a minimum of 10 feet wide. In some places, the law only calls for 5 feet. We agreed to make it a minimum of 10 feet buffer strip. So if the neighbor looks over his yard for 10 feet, he's not going to see anything except landscaping. Yeah. Secondly, some neighbors asked us to stop spraying the herbicide that we were using for the weed control in the area. We stopped that. We issued a letter of termination of services dated January 12, 2024. That hasn't been done since. Thirdly, we agreed that the self-storage facility would not allow renters to operate a business out of the units. This happens in many places in Harmon. Many places in Harmon, you go to them. I go to one. They have a business license, and I go in there and I buy stuff, right? And it's just a big self-storage. We were asked not to allow that. We agreed, so that was the condition of approval if GLUC gets that far. And then fourthly, because the very valid question came up, hey, an M1 zone allows lots of things, right? There's lots of nasty, smelly, noisy uses that are permitted in an M1 zone. Okay, so we're giving you an M1 zone. What if you change? What if you decide to do something else? Valid question. So we respond to that this way. The owners agreed to file a restrictive covenant of their deed, restricting all uses to only equipment parking and a self-storage facility. Okay? They can't do anything else than that. If they do anything more than that, they violate the condition of approval by the land use commission, and their business licenses will be revoked. So this is a safeguard that we've used with other applicants in other municipal planning councils, and it's worked well. Lastly, at the last, your resolution asks us to find a alternate route between Mama Street and the railroad, thinking that, okay, the traffic we're going to generate will never get on EPOW. We can go to Mama's, and we can go somehow up to Pickendale, and then left and right down there, right? So Kyle did extensive work on this. There was 15 or 16 properties in the area. We brought all the property maps. We brought them from Security Title. We reviewed it. Not possible. There are some easements, there are some rights of way, there are some active easements, some reserved easements, and some rights of way. Can't get through. There is one possibility that one property has a link between an easement here and an easement there, but there is this property in between. This is just one exception that we found. That if you negotiate with that property owner, maybe you could, get a road through. Or if you could talk to the Director of Public Works into condemning a 40-foot line, he's done that before. Bingo, we got it, right? But that's beyond our protocol. So those are the 5 back and forths that we had from the previous public hearings, and that's how we responded to the law. Lastly, it's my conclusion that there were 2 points of opposition as a result of our last 2 MPC public hearings in our last regular meeting. One was the incompatibility of N1 in the area, which is largely residential, and secondly, the additional traffic put on the road. Okay? Those were the 2 points that came out. Real quickly, the incompatibility issue I addressed like this. There are other M1 zone properties along Mamas. Kyle, the zone things. So here's EPOW, here's Mamas. The red is M1. So this is the subject property. There are other M1s along Mama Street, but no, there is no other one along Mama's here, yeah, where the houses are. Of course, we aren't there either, but we do have an access there and there. So with regard to the compatibility issue, right, it's an M1. But there are other M1s in the area, and my point is, you might view this M1 as an insurance policy against something worse coming up, right? Because you can get nasty, smelly, dirty, useless tomorrow from any of those red areas. Okay. Now, if you put our M1 in the middle, and we can only do the benign uses of equipment parking and self-storage, it's right. It's not perfect, but it keeps the road kind of intact. Not residential, but it keeps it quiet and peaceful, so to speak. Additional traffic on the EPOW road, totally legitimate, right? We all know this. It's a little bit better, I think, since we have phase 2 open down to San Torres, but it's still terrible. It's just terrible. And we follow the latest reports on when is it going to happen, when is it going to happen. My reports are, we don't know yet. It is designed. It's almost fully funded, but not completely funded. And until Vince Ariola gets all the funding in line, he can't pull the trigger for that, okay? So we don't know, all right? And even beyond that, as Jackie Marathi pointed out, when it's under construction, it is going to be a mess, right? Just a huge mess. Sorry for anybody who lives in the radius. So what you're saying is, to us, hey, we don't want additional traffic, right? But what I'm saying to you is that the additional traffic to be created is only Public Works approved number of 34 vehicles a day, average traffic, okay? 34 vehicles a day. Nothing. The property is already zoned for R2. The property can accommodate 64 apartment units without any variances for height, setback, or density, meaning that Lamar design, permit, construction without ever coming here to the MPC. That's what that means. Okay, what does 64 units represent the traffic? About 400 average a day. So we're talking 37. It's already approved for something that can do 400. This is not a threat. This is just a fact. All right. I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know what they're going to do. They might start developing it one by one. They already have a master plan for it. If they don't get what they're looking for, they might sell it. The housing's a hot issue. Man, Kyle and we're doing a bunch of residential projects right now. It's a very hot issue on the road. So that's what we're facing with when you say, we don't want additional traffic on Ipa Road. That additional traffic is 37, the alternative before that. That's my quick spin on things. May I entertain your questions, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Swavey. But before going on to any public testimony, we want to make sure that everybody is aware that because we already heard this last year, we want to make sure that that this is handled correctly. Today's hearings concern is because of the open government law and in compliance. Because it wasn't properly archived back then when we had the land management public hearing on this on January 9th of 2024. And then we had the municipal planning council public hearings on February 8th and on February 15th. But we want to assure everybody that their oral and written testimonies from last year still stand and are still on the table for us to review. So again, because we couldn't find the live streaming, we're redoing this public hearing. Okay, and so, and now we'd like to open up the floor to anyone who would like to make a testimony. We do have Attorney John Brown on the list today. The only one on the list right now. Attorney Brown?
I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Swavey? Anyone? Okay. Okay, well, there being none, then thank you very much for this. We still would like the public to know that we will be accepting testimony until June 20th. That's 10 business days after this public hearing today, our second public hearing. And then we're looking to more so vote on this for our next municipal planning council meeting. So at this time, because we're having the two public hearings today, we have the opportunity for people to still submit their written testimonies to get it into us, and then we'll be able to vote on it. This is part of the agenda for our next municipal planning council regular monthly meeting today at 6:30. It'll be part of the agenda to discuss it and then actually take a vote on it for the next meeting. Okay, in July. So again, thank you. Would anyone else like to make any comments or have any questions for the presenter, Mr. Swavey? Anyone? Okay, I know we do have residents of Tuman Heights that live on that are affected. No? Okay. Go ahead. We have Mr. Casillo, one of our council members.
I just have a question. Then when you say traffic is at 34, right? Your number is very specific, 34, that's the over, that means you're in compliance?
Well, the
I
way,
mean, this is,
yeah, no.
facetious question.
Good question, Leo. The way this works is, the land management, DOUC application process requires impact analysis on water, wastewater, and traffic. And, Department of Public Works approves references against which the proposed project, the details of the proposed project are bounced against those references, different uses, da, 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 da. And then from that, they get a traffic generation. And that work must, even though it's really just compare and contrast, that work must be signed by a registered engineer. So when I say 37, that's the number when they do the math between what square footage we have, and this and that, and this and that, against that reference. It comes out to a number. I know it's like 37, like really? Who counted that, right? But that's how it comes out.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, now there being none, we'll go ahead and, close this public hearing. The time now is 5:50 p.m. and this public hearing, has been adjourned. Thank you very much for your time.
Now we can. That's okay before. Here.